Hello everybody, Wishbone8121 here, and welcome to another Hero Wars video. In this video I'm going to be going over my main team. It's perhaps better than the meta. Alright, let's get into it. We're talking about the #1 arena team on server 464. That is Galahad, Ishmael, Sebastian Jet team with Fox. If you've never heard of Galahad, Ishmael, Sebastian Jet, it is an incredibly powerful combination, which I invented, which is probably why you don't see it very much on YouTube. So hopefully I'm the first one to really get this started. I use Fox with this, but Naughty uses Kira, which is very effective, though Fox is probably better for attacking. Kira is definitely good for defense, because the random crits sometimes just kills everybody. You could also use this with Ginger or with Artemis, actually, would be incredibly strong on this team as well. But let's get right into it. Let's look at the skills and abilities and how the team synergy works. All right, let's start with Jet because it's very important. This is a Jet Sebastian team. His purple skill gives everyone a basic amount of crit chance. Now his individual stats don't quite matter. Mine is almost maxed though, just because I'm trying to max out this team, make it basically unstoppable. His magic, he is missing 3,600 magic attack from his star rating, which is incredibly hard to max out because, you know, it's very difficult to get Jet Soul Stones. You turn in 10 Soul Stones of a absolute star character to get 1 Jet Soul Stone. So that's how that works from the Soul Shop, Soul Stone Shop. There you go. Oh, yeah, look at some more. Okay, so Jet's fourth skill is his critical strike chance. That gives everyone critical strike chance, which allows them to get Sebastian's buff. So we'll go over Sebastian next. For Jet, if you're trying to max out your team, obviously his magic attack increases the ability of all of his skills. But, you know, if you are just trying to max out your whole, roster, your whole character roster, his most important things are health and dodge, which basically makes him not die. And as long as he's alive, everyone on his team gets the crit chance, because if he does die, they lose the crit bonus, and then your team doesn't work that well anymore. His second skill is Potion of Fatigue. He throws this out at the beginning of the, or at the end of the third round of auto attacks, which prevents the closest enemies from being healed. By that point, usually their tank is dead. So with this particular setup, the Potion of Fatigue is not really that important because healing is irrelevant anyway. Acid Shot, he uses it right before the second round of auto attacks. This actually does affect the tank before Galahad charges. Galahad charges before his second swing. And the armor reduction is up to about 10,000 if Jet is maxed. His Elixir of Vigor is pretty good. On this particular team, he will prioritize Sebastian if Sebastian has the skin plus, the physical attack skin plus. If not, he will target Ishmael. Ishmael is the second highest by about 200 damage. This gives him a 30% speed bonus and physical attack boost. Really, this only happens if everything goes to shit and half your team is dead, which at this point usually he uses it on either Sebastian or Ishmael, depending on who is alive, and allows them to potentially finish off the other team. This usually he only gets to the point where he uses ultimate if both teams are half dead, which is pretty nutty, but it does happen sometimes, but not very often. This is really, you're only going to see this in a mirror match. Okay, let's go on to Sebastian. All right, Sebastian's Rhythm of War is the main deal here. He deals extra pure damage. Everyone on the team deals 53,116 extra pure damage on critical hit. That's if he's maxed. His physical attack is going to be the #1 most important stat on the entire team. So maxing out Sebastian's physical attack is the #1 priority for the team as far as offensive damage. Your most important priorities is Sebastian's physical attack and Galahad's health, because you don't want Galahad to ult too early. We'll go into that later. Next, his curse song reduces the tank's armor by a significant amount, almost 13,000. So that's gonna be huge. That allows Ishmael to penetrate through even Ziri's armor, or not Ziri, anyone but Ziri's armor, 100%. However, during the third round of auto attacks, Ishmael will penetrate all the way through Ziri's armor, and Ziri will die during the third round of auto attacks, or she'll actually go under the ground usually before that anyway. Hunter's Tune, and Sebastian does not repeat the curse song on anyone else. It's only on whoever the first tank is at the start of the match. Hunter's Tune, Sebastian uses right after his second auto attack, so this is going to be up for the third and fourth rounds of auto attacks. And it increases the critical strike chance of everyone who has crit chance by a lot. So if Jet is alive, then everyone gets this boost, which is why Jet and Sebastian work so well together. They add a massive crit boost to characters who are not designed to have crit, such as Galahad, which we'll get into in a little bit. And of course, his Ballad of Tenacity is very nice. If he manages to get it off, Ishmael can usually kill basically anything, because it makes the entire team immune to stun and curses. Now, it says shield health. It's not really a shield. It doesn't reduce any incoming damage. But the stun and curse prevention will be up until the team takes 633,000 damage. So that's how that works. And his artifact weapon is physical attack. Jet's is armor, but he doesn't really use it that much. If he does use it, it's at the very end, and it is helpful. If he does use his ultimate, it will make whoever he's targeting be basically immune to physical damage for the 9-second duration, while he heals them as well. Okay. Next, we're going to get into Galahad, because this is one of the major combinations here is Jet, Sebastian, Galahad. I don't know why people don't talk about this. His Iron Skies hits people twice. He also cleaves the midline with his basic attacks. He cleaves the front line with his basic attacks. So he hits the whole front line every time he attacks. He charges before his third auto attack. His third auto attack will cleave not only front, but the midline as well, allowing him to hit up to four of the enemy team, depending on their team setup. And his unstoppable charge will cleave the entire front line. A lot of times that ends up canceling the ultimate of the enemy tank, because usually they're either dead or about to ultimate right before his third auto attack. We'll get into that. This team is designed to have incredibly high pressure on the tank. We'll get into that in a little bit. His Iron Skies on average deals 110,000 damage with this combination to the average hero, assuming they have 11,000 armor. It's a little bit more than that. If they have less armor, a little bit less than that if they have more armor, but a lot of that damage is actually pure damage. It's from Sebastian, because Iron Skies hits everyone twice. Now, his artifact weapon is also physical attack, which buffs the entire team, which is very, very powerful. And since he's usually the first to use his artifact weapon is the #1 priority for the team. I would put Ishmael's as second and Sebastian's at third, and whoever you have as the fourth person, the fourth slot, I would put them at fourth. I use Fox because I like the armor penetration, and he has good innate penetration. And I don't like using Kira because Kira can charge up the enemy team sometimes, which is makes it less good for offense, I think. All right, next we're going to go over Ishmael. Ishmael hits like a truck. Mine is maxed out. He has a decent amount of health, and his armor penetration is 18,000. So with Sebastian, he penetrates entirely through the tank's armor. And then if the tank is dead before the third round, Jet will throw the armor, a 10k armor reduction on whoever the second tank is, if there is a second tank. which means that Ishmael will penetrate through their armor all the way as well. So basically, Ishmael just penetrates through anyone's armor the entire match with this particular lineup. His skills, his fourth attack stuns the opponent. This also prevents them from dodging. So if you're against a dodge team, this ends up being important at that point. Most teams are dead before he throws his fourth punch, or at that point, basically the match is basically over at that point. But every once in a while, it does become important. Like, let's say if both teams kill multiple players, and you just have Ishmael and Jet left, which does happen. He does have 120% vampirism, so basically he heals himself back to full with every attack. And he is immune to physical damage about half the time. This has an 8-second cooldown, and it is active for 4 seconds. As far as his ultimate is incredibly powerful for pressure on the front line. It increases his attack speed by 200%, so that means he attacks 3 times as fast, and it gives him a crit chance. And his artifact weapon is critical strike chance, which goes very well with the Sebastian Jet team. Sometimes, if Ishmael's the one that lands the killing blow on the first tank, then Galahad's ultimate will generally have this crit boost on it, which increases Galahad's average damage per person up to around 130 to 140,000 damage per person. It's incredibly powerful. All right. Lastly, we're going to go over Fox, who I think is my favorite for the 4th position. You could also use Kira, you could use Ginger, you could use Artemis, depending on what you feel like doing, or even Darkstar. Pretty much any... or you could also use Daredevil. Daredevil crits everyone with her bomb, and that would go off around the same time Galahad's ult does. So there's a lot of choices you can use for the 4th. I like Fox because her ultimate gives the armor penetration buff. That's the artifact weapon, which gives this team the trifecta of physical attack, crit chance, and armor penetration. So if all of my ults go off, then each person is just completely unstoppable. Just massive physical DPS. Also works very well with Hydra. Fox with the Hydra can actually be used with Cornelius, so that Cornelius's ult deals over 1 million damage to the Hydras. Just as an aside, Fox's attack is a little bit lower than everyone else's. However, she does have 28,000 armor penetration and almost 6,000 critical strike chance of herself. So she does hit very, very hard. Though she is lower health, only just over 200,000. So she is a little squishy. She does die early sometimes. However, her skills are very good. Alright, so Fox uses Smokescreen right after her 3rd auto attack, so that is going to be right in the middle of everyone using their ultimates, depending on, how much pressure the enemy team is putting on yours. She uses Cannonade directly after her 4th auto attack, so you almost never see this skill in a match. But again, if half of both teams are dead, it is very strong, especially if Sebastian is still alive, because each individual hit can crit and therefore cause Sebastian's pure damage, so 53,000 extra pure damage. So that generally finishes things off if she is alive at that point. Concussion is an incredibly powerful skill. This definitely saves the team in a lot of instances. So when she uses it on whoever is at the front, if she doesn't kill them with her ultimate, because her ultimate does crit for about 400,000 damage, because of the artifact weapons that are up at the time, it will stun them for 5 seconds and knock them back. Let's say Astrid and Lucas come up, they get their ultimate off. Both of the enemy tanks are dead, or Julius is dead in the second, before the second round, easily. Judge is also dead. Astrid and Lucas uses their ultimate after their 3rd attack, and Fox will then knock back Lucas and allow you to kill the rest of the team, because Lucas will be stunned for 5 seconds. So this team just rips through progress like nobody's business. All right, so I wanted to show a video just kind of up against a dummy tank healer team, just so that you can see the type of pressure that that this team puts on the opponent. And that was the first round, so right there, this is in the middle of the second round. Astaroth's already dead. This Astaroth is almost maxed. Not quite, but it's pretty close. That Galahad is maxed out. Ishmael died. Celeste died instantly to Galahad's ult. It's just nuts. The team pressure is nuts. We're just going to go over a few numbers here. Against the average tank with 28,000 armor and 11,000 strength, which, changes the crit chance. Your average first 2 rounds of auto attacks will give 575,000 damage combined, and 36,000 of that is going to be Galahad, which cleaves the entire front line. Now for the before the third auto attack, that is when Jet will throw out his armor reduction, which helps Galahad and Sebastian. Jet actually doesn't attack during the third round. He throws out his armor penetration buff or debuff, and then he throws out the healing debuff. However, Galahad does charge right before his third auto attack. So the third auto attack the third round of auto attack will deal an extra 445,000 damage, just because that's when everyone gets Sebastian's crit chance boost as well. Now 100,000 of that will be Galahad cleaving the front line with both his charge and his third auto attack. And that third auto attack will cleave the midline for roughly 60,000 damage. It's just absolutely nuts. And that's usually around the time that Galahad has received enough damage to use his ultimate, which deals 110,000 damage per person. So the entire midline is getting 160 to 100 or about 170,000 damage from Galahad. The front line is getting over 200,000 damage from Galahad during that third auto attack cycle. And the tank is just, the second tank is just dead. If they have 2 tanks. If they don't have 2 tanks, it doesn't matter. This team can't be beat by a team without 2 tanks. It's just too fast. You got a progress team with Astrid and Lucas. Their team's already dead by the time Lucas uses her ultimate. So it's basically already over. Now, if you're facing a Kira team, where they're putting a lot of pressure on you as well, and Galahad is charging up Kira, so it does happen that sometimes sometimes you die because Kira kills everybody. Kira kills the whole back. Sometimes against Kark, because he gets cleaved by Galahad will put him down to like 1 health by critting him a couple times. So sometimes Kark does have a chance with Sebastian and Jet to kill the back. So it's weird stuff that does happen though. But for the most part, this team's very, very strong. Now, if you're looking at a mirror match and both teams are close to dead, then Ishmael and Jet are usually the last 2 people alive. Now, Ishmael, after he uses his ultimate, he will deal 585,000 damage himself, on average, per auto attack round, because he attacks 3 times per auto attack round. If he is the only person alive with Jet at the end, he will deal 641,000 damage per auto attack round. That's even without the pure damage from Sebastian, just because if he has everyone's artifact weapon, he's just a monster, which tends to save you quite a bit. Though even if Ishmael is dead, Sebastian, Fox, and Jet can hold their own. Once Jet uses ultimate, your team has an artifact armor buff, and Sebastian gets healed about 22,000 per second from Jet, which allows him to tank for 9 seconds. And during that 9 seconds, their tank is either killed by Fox or is stunned for 5 seconds and knocked back, allowing Fox and Sebastian to just rip through whoever is left. So this does have, even if shit hits the fan, this team is still quite strong. But with that said, that pretty much sums everything up. I wish I had footage that's more of more teams, but unfortunately our server's only 3 months old, so there's not a whole lot of near max teams on my server. And in global matches, no one attacks me. and I tend to use my Titan teams because I need to take the bridge for the rest of my guild, and the teams that I face aren't maxed anyway. So there's really not too much of max footage to show. If you are, another YouTuber, that'd be great if you could, max test this team just to see any strengths or weaknesses I don't know about. And, I hope you guys try this out. Jet is a monster. And let me know what you think. All right. Have a good one. See ya.